My name is Christian. His name is David. We are part of the Friction department. We believe that today there's not going to be any visuals. It's going to be just us. We believe that we can work better. And in order to work better, we need to communicate better. Something that has been happening in festivals or creative teams is that conflicts arise when the roles are not clear. That brings to miscommunication. The egos takes a big part of that, and the founder's bottleneck. That's why on the normal world, between 10 to 20% of the population is neurodivergent. Is anybody here neurodivergent? ADHD, Asperger's, autism? Good, we're all healthy. In the creative field, between 50 to 60% of the crews are neurodivergent. And also in festivals, maybe people didn't sleep for a couple of days, maybe they're in a special state of mind, so we need to communicate in a way that everybody understands what's happening. David here, please introduce yourself.
Okay, my name is Dave Dinger. Maybe some people know me as a DJ. I've been working in clubs and festivals for 25 years, mainly in the subculture, Berlin techno, underground, like a lot of counterculture, a lot of rebellious mind, and as you can imagine, there was a lot of chaos. Like, I've been working in Bar 25, Fusion Festival, Garbicz Festival, and we all started out as hippies with a very flat hierarchy, with yeah, we are all equal, and we don't know what we are doing, but it's great fun. And so this brought me to a point where I burned out very badly after a while. And honestly, I didn't realize for quite a while until the COVID break hit me. And that was the first time when I was like, fuck, what am I doing with my life? So I tried to make sense out of my experiences in those 25 years. And I did some trainings for somatic bodywork, body-oriented psychotherapy, because I really tried to figure out, like, what the fuck happened? What did I do? What happened to me? And like, it was so highly dysfunctional systems that I spent my life in, and I wanted to figure out what happened in those systems and how can we improve that.
That's why we know each other with David for the past 10 years, and we're seeing these problems coming over and over again. He's the project leader on, I don't know if people know Garbicz Festival? Good. From Wiese Stage, that is one of the biggest ones, and there was some friction issues, and that's where we're going to try to talk about that here, that how to implement this framework. It improves not only time and delays, but that turns into money at the end of the day, because people are staying there, because they work better, and that's why we're going to talk today. Yeah? So, David, tell me, please, it's a bit weird, what happened in the past that you thought that you need maybe some oil in these joints?
Maybe I go a little bit into detail how my life looked like before. So at Garbicz Festival, I was from the beginning there. I did design the creative concept for the 2 big stages. At the same time, I managed the construction department. I did all the budgeting and creating of site production in general, so everything that happened on the ground, I was in that team that took care of that as well. And I was DJing, and I was a construction manager, and I did all of that by myself.
That sounds like a lot.
Yeah, it felt like, I don't know, I think this was like in the heart where my ADHD really made a lot of sense, because I'm really good at juggling a million things at once, but I'm really horribly bad in like doing one thing and staying consistent with it. And So after my breakdown that I mentioned, I was like, okay, I need to step out of all these roles. Also because I'm not doing a very good job. Like, crews left a lot. I burned out a lot of people. I was shouting at people. There was just so much trouble, and I was like, okay, I need to make it smaller and focus on one project. So I'm just gonna do the project management for one stage. And then that was, I guess, the moment when I realized that I'm really bad at focusing at one thing. And that was also the time when you came into the picture. And to be honest, in the beginning, I was like, okay, we are working on the Friction department. We want to set up this thing together. And yeah, I have this crew, and we can try it out there as a case. But in my crew, everything is cool, right? Like, it's actually working out quite well. That was my opinion in the beginning.
Something that happened on this team, as on many other teams that we work, is that the idea that the founder or the team leader has and the crew has, they think that everything is okay and there's no friction, but when you go one by one, the little things start appearing. And that is what brings this miscommunication.
Yeah, I think that was like part of the magic that happened when Chris started to interview my team and was talking to the individual team members. As an outside person, he gathered a completely different set of information than I would gather if I'm coming as a boss and be like, so tell me, are there any problems? And anybody would be like, yeah, no, it's all good. Yeah. Hey, boss, I'm doing a great job, nothing to worry here. And I think that's a usual scenario.
But why do you think that it's important to bring someone from outside?
There was like another big thing in the team, like what I mentioned before, like the way I was working before, I was like taking care of 1 million projects and every time just passing by a little bit. All good, do you have any trouble? I fix your issues and I run away immediately. And that was also like the way I treated my own team when I was focusing on one project. I just came by, checked if everything is all right, and then ran away again. Like also, honestly, I had consciously the strategy of like, I rather let the team cook its soup by itself. Because if I'm available, I get bombarded with all these stupid questions all the time. And if I'm not there, they find a way to figure it out themselves. Why do I say that? What was the point? Somebody from outside coming in.
Yeah.
I think like one of the magic things that really happened was like you listened to the people, and I didn't do that at all. I was just like all good, ciao. And like just the magic of there is somebody interested in your work field and what are your problems and what is your perspective on it. You gave them space to be heard, seen, and listen. And that was a massive game changer for the whole thing.
There was one specific case that somebody said, okay, so I had to do this twice, but it's totally fine because they didn't like it, but I put my effort and I felt that something was not totally okay there. And then the other team leader just texted her and called her, and she started crying just for the simple fact that she was hurt. That she felt that somebody was caring about her feelings, not about her abilities to finish the task.
Yeah. And I think this is heading a little bit to the whole ego thing, because we all need respect and recognition. That's one part of the ego, I think. And the other part is that we are most of the time not really good at communicating what we are not good at. And in my perspective, like most of the ego problems start like somebody pretends to be super strong, but actually feels like she needs to defend something. There's something not quite right. Like I'm having a deficiency, I'm not good enough, and I'm trying to hide it. That's causing most of the ego problems, in my opinion. And this was something that came out very clear from what you gathered like the things I'm not good at as a team leader. And then things were there, visible for everybody and outspoken. And we could easier find a way how to communicate about this stuff. And I guess there's a lot of work that we are doing, like how to find the sweet spot, like, hey, I'm really good at that, but I'm not really good at that. So how do we match as a team in that?
There's something that when we're kids, I remember that I was really bad at math, and I was really good on something else. So my parents, they took me to learn more math instead of trying to push what I was really, really good at. So it's really important to know how good we are on certain things and how bad we are. And in that spectrum, we can take the best out of it. Because, for example, David, he realized that his position, his force, it was somewhere else. And I hope that after this year, he realized that I'm really good at this. And then he gave different tasks to different people to shine on their perspective.
I think I would like to go one step back because, like, I think we need a form of safety and security in the group to have a proper conversation and communication in terms of, like, I'm not good at this. Like, if I'm feeling like I'm under stress and under trouble, like, I will not admit that I'm having a hard time solving that issue. And just doing simple measurements as a team building, like a moment where we all come together and feel ourselves as human beings, does an amazing job and is super important that we are doing easier in admitting things that doesn't work that great for us.
And this is not only coming from the mind. Body, his parts specialize mostly on the body, on how people can interact themselves through the body work. Can you please tell us a bit about it?
So what I like to do in teams is a lot like placing yourself in the room. Say, like, you have one spectrum here, one spectrum there. Like, how happy are you in your situation and the team? Super happy and not happy at all. And tons of questions like that that just make visible what everybody actually knows, but is not spoken clearly. And there is many times people wouldn't like to speak about that, but like if you position your body in the room, how happy am I in the team? Do I feel like I can say if I'm not happy with something, that I'm disappointed, how I'm feeling not seen, whatever, and you place your body in the room, and then everybody looks around and is like, yeah, now the truth is in the room. Everybody can see what happens. And I also did another thing, like, okay, and now do you actually believe what you are seeing? Yeah, because like you are very fine with yourself, like, yeah, I'm here, I'm very confident, I don't have any problem. But the people around would be like, but you might think this is your place, but like I don't believe what I see. And there's a lot of stuff that you can do with no talking. And I also like to do like simple exercises where people just look into their eyes, like make a line from the darkest color of the eye to the brightest color of the eye. And I had a feeling sometimes just looked into their eyes for the first time. And I think truly stuff like that changes a lot because like our nervous system is made for co-regulation and we need to feel ourselves together. And this making a lot more stuff, a lot more clear than like all the talking in the world. So
transparency, that's the key point here. That, for example, now we're having this talk in English and not in German as many others. This is our implicit agreement that we all agree that this moment is going to be in one specific language. In teams, and mostly in creative teams, we need to find the way that we interact to each other, that we talk the same language. Yeah, and not only on the language, but I know that, for example, with him, I need to treat him a bit more direct because he doesn't want all the blah, blah, blah. But maybe with someone else, I need to be a bit more careful. So we need to have this agreement as a crew, as a team, that we're going to follow these little rules, that it is kind of like an internal manifesto that we do as a team. and this is the way that we're going to communicate. And believe me, it works. I don't know, just I want to know what it was on your eyes, the outcome, and the things that you think that it got not totally fixed, but maybe it helped on the garbage team and the creative team. I think I know, like the biggest one, and I'm gonna say it, that they started for the first time one day earlier. That in a festival, that is a lot to say. But I want to know your input.
You mean we finished one day earlier?
Yes.
Yeah.
The stage was there, beautiful.
So the stress reduction was a lot. And there was a pain mentioned from my team, and there was a lot about my not being available, not being present. But I had to deal with all these issues because of poor planning. The poor planning happened because I tried to do things that I'm not good at while pushing things that I didn't want to do at people who were not capable of doing it. And in that process of like getting better in communication, I think I found the sweet spot of like, okay, but if I want that person to deliver that, I first need to feed the information in there, and then I can get the information out that I need. So we got a lot better in planning, and that led a lot to stress reduction, meant like I didn't have to run back and forth between last second deliveries, solving issues and stuff. So I could be present on site and be with my team and deliver all the soft skills that I'm actually really good at, like reading the room, knowing who is in trouble, feeling who actually needs some support, giving advice, like stage building. I'm doing that for 25 years. I know that shit, yeah? But if I'm not around, like, hey, why don't you do it like this? Like, look, that's so much easier. I think that was like the happy point mentioned from the crew, from my team as number one, that I was available and present. And I could do that because I managed my stress load before better by finding out who in the team can help me solve my issues and who needs what to solve their issues. Yeah, and I guess like also as part of you interviewing the whole team, we started a lot earlier, like recap properly from last year, what went right, what needs to improve. But we started to have a communication way in advance, so much more earlier than we normally do. Yeah, that's one part.
And let's be honest, we do these kind of things for passion. We love what we're doing, we love to be on festivals. But on the other hand, this is a business. So I want to know about the numbers. What happened on the numbers, on the team, on the stage?
Well, to be completely honest, the thing is like if you have a budget for a stage, you're gonna burn it, right? But the thing is like how? Where does the money end up? So as part of the better planning, being more precise with material orders and stuff, we could work with a much smaller team, which ended up with better payment for each and every team member. And there was like a key problem within my team. Like in this like hippie techno festival thing, a lot of people work for no money or very little money, and you can only do that for so long. After a while, you're like, fuck that shit. I don't get anything out of it. Like, I do something else. So the big improvement was not that we were saving money in terms of budget, but we managed to bring the budget to the people who actually do the work. And this is, I think, a major key point, because they fucking deserve the money instead of burning it with like crazy doing useless shit, A to B to C and back and forth, like, oh, we ordered the wrong material.
And what was the outcome compared to other years when you have more volunteers? Did the process work better, having a smaller, better paid team than in previous years with many other volunteers that were unpaid?
General stress reduction everywhere, like people knew what to do and were also more happy to do what they were doing. Maybe also worth mentioning like my construction manager was on the way leaving the whole situation, which would have been like proper ruin for me. And just like being like, okay, how much do you need to do that job? Okay, here's the money. Like otherwise, I would have been like burned out again immediately, I would say.
So something that we did as the Friction department, we created a specific framework that it works on different levels on this process. And when was the point that you feel that the situation changed with your team builder, with that meeting that we had? Because they had a really interesting meeting when a lot of really strong truth were said. At least on my eyes, that was like a key point of this turning, that both of you were totally open and transparent on how you feel on this situation.
I think the first step was like, I guess without your intervention, I would have tried to sit it out. He mentioned like, yeah, maybe I want to do something else and la la la. And like, I would have used my usual strategy. You will sort it out, yeah? Right, like the less I go into contact with that, the easier the solution will be for me. And but then came the moment where I was like, fuck, he's really maybe leaving now or not coming back anymore. And that was a moment when I realized that I am actually in big trouble. And then we are back at the point of like, fuck, I need help. And like, I think approaching him from that point of view, like, I need you, I need your help, and what do you need so you can do the job that needs to be fulfilled, and then we are back in proper communication.
That is the point that he felt hurt, the point that he felt that he was needed, and he felt valuable, because that's the thing here. So I think that on this little couple of minutes, we spoke about that the roles were not clear, and somehow we kind of aligned that. The communication, it was bidirectional. It was not a boss giving orders. It was come and forth. People were talking about how they feel, how things can improve. Founder's bottleneck. He stopped micromanaging. He believed on the second lines. And most important, the ego. People that didn't want to be right for the only sake of being right. They have a goal that they need to finish this stage at some point. And that's what they did. And at the end of the day, because I was spending a lot of time with them, they were proud. They were getting to the stage. I don't know who'd been to Garbicz this year, but Wiese was incredible. And at least for what they say, is like for the first time in the years, I was like, let's go to our stage. They felt part of it. They really believe it. And I don't know, just tell me, how do you feel, how do you think that the future, what the future is coming after what we learn on this process?
How much more?
I don't know. Okay. 2 minutes.
Like for me, the main point was like, after I got rid of all my, most of my stress, I could emotionally connect with the stuff. And I guess that's also what the crew members felt. They felt connected to the outcome. And I felt like I'm not standing there alone. I need to fix all the issues, and gave people responsibility much more, but the right one. And they felt seen and recognized for that. And I think we just have so much more capacity. Say like my 3D planner is already keen on ideas for next year, and there is a whole other motivation in the room which makes space for crazier projects in the end.
Just think, how much are we saving for the people not leaving the stage? I think that we're kind of okay on time. He's David, I'm Christian, we're from the Friction department, we're here in K26. We don't have a lot of candies, but we have a lot of really beautiful tips for anyone that wants to work their teams in a better and peaceful way. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And if anyone wants to make any questions, we have 12 seconds. Yeah.